Hawaii, the islands of Aloha, a world-famous holiday spot where fresh air, warm people, and breathtaking natural scenery are the perfect ingredients to revive any weary soul. Well known for its volcanic activity, the islands exude a number of volcanic hotspots, including the world-famous Mount Kilauea. It's the world's most active volcano. A tourist haven, Mount Kilauea is one of the planet's most visited volcanoes, offering spectacular views of the wonder and power of volcanic activity. We make our escape to this North Pacific paradise visiting a resort which enjoys the magnificent Mount Kilauea as a scenic backdrop. Mauna Lani Resort is situated on the Kahala coast off Hawaii's Big Island. It's set on 29 oceanfront acres of lush natural bushland with 3 miles of secluded shoreline. And the first thing that catches your eye when you approach either of the two 18-hole championship layouts is the presence of the lava rock. While the course layouts are certainly eye-openers, constructing a design on such a remarkable terrain is far from unusual.
From a construction standpoint, they come in with a couple big bulldozers, just start stamping down the lava, flatten it out, then they bring in some choker soil. The soil is probably the biggest issue. It has to be imported to be brought in so that there's at least a base for the grass to grow on. But other than that, it's pretty simple to lay the plan out and design a golf course.
The two Mauna Lani layouts offer plenty of variety to challenge golfers of all abilities. The recipient of Golf Magazine's Gold Medal Award as one of America's best golf resorts since 1988, they've also played host to the senior skins golf game for 11 years.
The two courses are totally separate in their design, where the south course is definitely more scenic, has a lot more ocean views. There are trees, coconut trees, but nothing major to block your views. So it's more scenic of the two, where the north course is more of our tournament golf course. And that definitely has trees in the middle of the fairway. It brings more of the natural forest into play also on that side.
We start on the gentler of the two layouts, a favorite of hotel guests looking for a rewarding experience.
There are some holes to get you started out here, kind of get the pace moving, and then it does get into a lot tighter areas. 1, 2, and 3 are pretty straightforward holes, and then you get into 4, which is a par 5, but it's not your two-shot par 5. You got to think about what you're going to take off the tee. You're also going to think about how far you can lay up, or even if you've got an opportunity to go for it. It's not one that's going to give anything back to you.
The visual experience on the northern layout just gets better throughout our tour. Despite its more relaxed reputation, it's not without its challenges.
7 is a very intimidating par 3. It's got an elevation drop. It's right along the ocean, and depending again if the prevailing winds are in your face, it can play as much as a 250-yard shot. That's a little intimidating to be right next to the Pacific Ocean, and you got a fairway wood going into a par 3, so it's definitely a fun hole. The green in itself is one of those also where it has 3 different tiers, front, middle, and back tier, and depending on where that flag is, you could end up having a 60 to 70-foot putt going either up or all the way downhill, depending on where you end up there.
It's on the south course at the 15th that the true beauty of Mauna Lani takes hold.
That's our signature shot. It's the hero shot, the photograph you see all over the place. That is just a plain spectacular hole as a par 3. To me, the only place you got to play from is all the way back. It plays about 200 yards from back there, but it's well worth the trip to go all the way to the back tee.
Much like the inviting views, the 15th green looks appealing.
It is inviting because it's wide open in the front, but each side and the back are surrounded by bunkers, so it is pretty intimidating. So you got to get over the water and then get it stopped short enough so it stays right on the green. The typical wind's more of a crosswind. It's more of a right to left type of wind that's out there, so it actually kind of somewhat helps you to be able to throw it over more land and then bring it back in a little bit. But again, it's holding on the green and making sure you can get it to stay in a position, especially if you're playing from all the way back and using a longer iron in your hand. It's to have it stop where you want it to stop.
On to the daunting north course now. It's not just the more challenging layout that will intimidate first-timers.
I think the lava more or less intimidates people as far as the look, the jaggedness of how it plays, rather than really how it affects the game. Most of it really doesn't come into play, but in the back of every player's head, it's there and looming over you.
Having said that, if you find yourself off the fairway, you'll undoubtedly have a rocky and tricky lie.
The rough is literally rough here. It is jagged rough, and that's definitely an unplayable ball from that point.
The wind may well be the defining factor when you approach the ninth.
Well, number 9, depending on what way the breeze is blowing, it could either be at you or with you. It's a long par 4 that heads out towards the ocean, and it's definitely 2 good shots either way. And it's definitely one of those, it's, I think, the highest handicap hole on the north. Not too bad off the tee where you can have a large, generous landing area, but getting into the green is going to be your challenge. It definitely slopes up and away from you, so it's more of a optical illusion as you get into it. It looks a lot larger from the fairway than it actually is once you get up to the green. So being in the right position does make a large difference.
And if you've had the luxury of the wind at your back, it all turns around at number 10.
Number 10 is one of those holes where you can either make up a stroke or lose the stroke as a par 5. Depending on the breezes as they blow, you could definitely have a spot to be in and get it there in 2. Or you may have 3 hard shots going depending on what the breeze is like. And 9 and 10 are really good 2 holes back to back because you got a long par 4 and kind of a shorter par 5. So you can kind of give and take as you go, depending on what the conditions are. The green on 10 is definitely one of our most undulated greens, and there's basically only 3 areas within that green that you can have hole positions. And it plays totally different depending on where that hole is placed.
And the amphitheatre nature of 17 was an ideal spot to watch the seniors on the first event staged at Mauna Lani.
It was definitely the natural elements. The large lava rock that's in the bunker in the front side of the green is definitely something that's been there for years. And it was great when we did have the senior skins game out here, is we did use 9 of the south and 9 of the north in the original skins game, and that set up for a very nice natural amphitheater to watch those 4 guys go at it.
With the lava rock as the foundation and the incredible Mount Kilauea as a backdrop, Mauna Lani is undoubtedly a unique golfing experience. Factors not lost on a host of tourists and locals alike.
It's one of the most popular courses here on the Big Island. The Koala Coast in general, we have 3 resorts right along this area. We tend to get most of the play, and the tourists are our major draw. But 90% of our play is from tourism in our hotels right here on property.
And despite the presence of one of the world's most active volcanic hotspots nearby, the locals believe there's no better place on Earth.
I live on the opposite side of the volcano, so I'm in a pretty safe spot. They can predict it so well that you know when the next flow is going to come, how hard it's going to be, and it's a nice place to be.